In this video, we'll be showing you how to introduce defined terms and definitions into your template. We'll demonstrate how to create a new definition, how to use the centrally organized definitions library, and how to include definitions in your Word document. It's important to know that you don't need to insert definitions into a template in the same way as you would insert contract clauses. What you do need to do is insert your definitions into a separate definitions library, and then you'll need to trigger them in the template by placing corresponding tags. The result is that all and exclusively defined terms that are used in the contract will appear in the definitions article or schedule. There's nothing more you need to do, as they will appear automatically and alphabetically. No definition will appear in this article if it isn't used in the contract. And if a definition features in a global building block or contract clause added to the template from the clause library, it will also appear in the definitions article. An important advantage of this library system is that it allows you to organize your definitions centrally. Now that you have a general notion of working with definitions in the wizard, we'll take you through it step by step. To create, edit, or delete a definition, click Organize Defined Terms and Definitions in the upper left toolbar. Then click Add New Definition. Enter a unique name. This is the name of the definition as it appears in the definitions library and in the template. Then enter a defined term, which is how the definition is to appear in the generated contract. In the right screen, insert the text of the definition. To edit a definition, click Organize Defined Terms and Definitions, find the definition you wish to edit, and then click Edit Definition. Edit the text in the right screen and click Save. The reason for the distinction between unique name and defined term is that a definition may vary according to the contract or context it features in. Take, for example, intellectual property rights extensive, as opposed to intellectual property rights simple. The library of definitions is ordered alphabetically. Therefore, for maintenance purposes, if there are more defined terms of the same kind, it's a good idea to use a template-related suffix. Similarly, you would use a prefix when a number of definitions is very specific to a type of contract. An example may be the definitions that appear in the JVA, Joint Venture Agreement. Once they're inserted into the definitions library, definitions can be included in your template. To do so, first insert a clause with the simple tag interpretation. Since this approach will be used in most contracts, sometimes with a few boilerplate clauses addressing interpretation, you'll usually insert the article with the interpretation tag in the form of a global building block. Now that the definitions have an article or a schedule to land in, the next step is to insert a tag in your template for each definition. To begin with, make sure you're in the right place in your template. A definition tag is best inserted where the defined term features most prominently or most logically in view of the topics addressed by the relevant contract article. It's a good idea to trigger defined terms early on in the template and to gather those tags as much as possible in one contract clause. The preamble and first sections of an article are good places to insert a definition tag. For a defined term that is used repeatedly in the template, insert the tag in a clause that will invariably feature in your generated contract. In other words, avoid inserting the tag in a clause that is dependent on a clause inclusion or choice answer during the Q&A. Now click Insert a Defined Term in the upper right toolbar. In the list that appears, find the defined term you wish to add and click Insert. If you define a term in the body of the agreement and wish to bold print or underline the defined term, then keep in mind that the brackets enclosing the definition tag must be included in the formatting. Otherwise, the Weagree wizard won't recognize the tag. You can see this in the underlying HTML of the clause, where the HTML formatting information is enclosed by the brackets along with the definition. You want the formatting properties to enclose the square brackets and not the other way around. Take note not to insert the tag every single time the defined term features in the contract. If a contract clause provides the definition of a term, and you wish to refer to this definition in the definitions article, The definition needs to be triggered in the relevant contract clause, and a cross-reference needs to be inserted in the definition. Definitions with a cross-reference to a template-specific clause are the exception to the rule that definitions are reusable. A particular cross-referring definition will only work within one and the same template, so we recommend making a unique reference name that uses the name of the template as well as a prefix, xref, ordering such definitions alphabetically at the end of your definitions library. The definition with the unique definition name xref JVA Management Board will look something like this. To create the cross-reference, first go to the template where you insert the cross-reference to the relevant template clause, then cut and paste it into the definition. Thank you for watching this tutorial on defined terms and definitions.